Consulting with lots of companies has its advantages and has its disadvantages. One of the real advantages is that you get to see so many different organizations. And the disadvantage is you get to see so many different organizations. I had a call once. I was helping with a company and they were delivering nutritional shakes, protein shakes. And the company we were working with was a moderately sized company. And in the November timeframe, we got a call saying that we needed to pay up immediately, not only all of our material that was due, which was absolutely acceptable, but we had a 60-day note. So in other words, we didn't have to pay for 60 days. We had to pay up everything immediately, or else there would be no more stock coming. Invariably, those calls come right when you're trying to do something important, like run an entire seminar. We had 150 people downstairs, and the principal comes up in a bit of a panic and like, we just got this call and we need to get on the call and figure out what's happened. And it turned out that the shake company who was manufacturing the shakes had not planned well for their end of year and decided the best way to do that was to push us to pay ahead of time. Now, the challenge was in January, we were doing a massive push and several $1 million were on the line. So we had to go figure that out. But I can't tell you how many times I found the challenge being that people do not understand the budgets and the timeframes necessary. Budget mismanagement has the tendency to really take down so many of our problems and create so many issues because people aren't just paying attention. Invariably, I can't tell you, when we do a budget review on a company, we find so many bits and pieces that, well, we've just been doing that forever. Another classic example of that is we've been using this advertising campaign forever and it seems to be working, so let's keep doing it. But when you truly look into it, everyone says, well, you need to be buying on social media. Do you? Looking into it, that these people were using the same strategy since 2009, which really worked well. But as it increased, it got more and more expensive. So it was actually costing them money to do this advertising campaign. But no one had bothered to go back and run the numbers because they were succeeding all the way around. Now, there was some argument that you could be using that in many different ways and different ways of looking and things like that. So there was some logic behind it. But in many ways, what we find is that stuff starts to get poorly managed. And invariably, the other thing is that $25 subscription that you had, or the $75 subscription that you had, that comes up every once in a while, but there are more important things on it. And if there's not someone looking at that, you're starting to bleed money all over the place. And so one of the things that happens is you use a tool for a while, and that tool may be very useful. And especially if you're only paying it for once a year to save the money, that pops up and it takes you a year cycle to get out of it. Poor budget management is one of those things that we see on a regular basis, stopping companies and not really understanding where their money's going. And then when it gets tight, they get really panicky very quickly. Your marketing budget isn't just leaking, it's hemorrhaging money. And the worst part, most expensive marketing activities in your business are probably generating the least revenue. While you're pouring money into the latest marketing trends and fancy tools, your competitors are generating triple the result with half the budget. When was the last time you truly measured the return on every marketing dollar? Every month of mismanaged marketing spending is just burning money. It's actively training your market to ignore you. You're not just losing money on ineffective tactics, you're paying to make your future marketing efforts even harder. That's a really interesting idea, that if you're not targeting your market well and giving them something to do, they could very well become market blind to you. They just don't even see your ads anymore. Now, I don't watch TV, or at least I don't watch TV that has commercials anymore. It's a personal choice to get me to focus on certain things. But I'll tell you what, the minute I see an ad on the TV, there's a favorite pizza place my son likes to go to, and they have ads on TV, and I get distracted by that ad because my brain is not used to all of the movement and flash. And maybe we'll actually spend some time doing a deconstruction of a typical ad, because most people are blind to that. but I am so focused on that ad because my brain just doesn't see it. Most people who are used to watching TV are completely blind to those ads, so that ad people are having to work harder and longer and being more and more creative to get that information out. If you're doing the same ad over and over again, people are blind to it. People continue to not see it, and you see that in its effectiveness. And what's interesting lately is an ad that you used to be able to run for a year, you can only run for a couple of months now, and sometimes only a couple of weeks. Now you're creating a new set of ad generation that you're going to have to do. You can't just do a set and forget it. It is part of that social grind that you'll have to create, where you're always having to come up with new ways of having those conversations with people, bringing them in, bringing their attention. So not only budget mismanagement hurts you because of the bottom dollar value, it hurts you because you're probably not looking at exactly how effective things are at this time. And therefore, you really should focus not only on the management of the dollars, but also the management of the attention span of your prospective customers. They are the ones that may or may not see you, may become blind to your advertisement if they continue to see the same thing over and over again. And if you've been doing the same ad for a long period of time, you may have run through that group regularly. And therefore, they're starting to see the same thing and they skip, opposed to being interested and fascinated by your product. Therefore, what I'd love you to do is I'd love you to spend some time and look at where your money is going. Look at each one of your line items of expense, specifically in the marketing area, and how those are generating good leads for you and what those leads actually turn into. Because so many people get stuck on, oh, I've got 150 opt-ins, or I've got 150 new customers. But 150 new customers or names that you can talk to is great, but if they don't bring out a equal amount or preferably greater amount of money in a short period of time, they may not be worth doing unless your long-term customer cost and customer acquisition cost is much lower than the long-term profitability. Stop and take a look at your marketing. What is it bringing in? What is it developing? And how is it getting any better? Because that is going to be one of those key things. Not only are you not doing well if you're not bringing in the right people, but if you're talking to those people and they're becoming blind to your advertisement, then you're wasting money that way too. So stop, take a look at that. Take a look at the creativeness and see how the engagement has dropped. Now, in social media, engagement drops over a period of time. It's just part of the deal. But you should be continuing to be creative in that use of that marketing and be very aware of what you're spending, because you may be giving your competition a leg up because they're getting ad blind to exactly what you're doing. What I'd love you to do is take a look at those, and there's 11 other ideas that I've created, and it's the 11 things that I teach people on a regular basis. If you go to the link below and opt in, I'll give you those 11 keys to exactly what's going on, one of which is budget mismanagement. I look forward to talking to you next time, but while you're here, would you mind giving me a couple of new research topics? In other words, what other ads have you seen that have really gone well or not well? Put a link in the description below and let's continue to have this conversation. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode on the Strategy Session, where we take your business from stuck to unstoppable. Here's another video I think you'd enjoy. If you found these insights valuable, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on our latest videos. Want to transform your business with expert strategies? Schedule your strategy session today by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, you're not just marketing, you're making history with Ventured Gain. See you in the next video.